for construction. An entire town was needed to house the workers who were pouring in from all over America in the midst of the Great Depression. The project averaged 3,500 workers a day, working 3 shifts, 7 days a week with only 2 days off a year. The pay scale started at $4 a day, a good wage in the midst of the Great Depression sweeping America. Amid the country's economic uncertainty, the workers in this canyon gave new life to the nation's spirit as they gave new life to the desert Southwest.
This is an engineering victory of the first order. And we say to you, well done.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt dedicated Boulder Dam on September 30, 1935. In 1947, Congress officially named it Hoover Dam. Some call it the most prodigious engineering construction feat since the Great Pyramids of Egypt. When a U.S. Senate committee endorsed construction of Hoover Dam in 1928, its report said, "A mighty river, now a source of destruction, is to be curbed and put to work in the interests of society." And so it was. Hoover Dam brought the desert flood control, a reliable supply of water, electrical power, and more. Behind a 726-foot-tall concrete face lies Lake Mead, America's largest man-made lake. Born out of the collected waters of the Colorado River, it could cover the entire state of Pennsylvania to the depth of 1 foot. But held behind Hoover Dam, it is a life-giving source for communities throughout the Southwest. On its way to meet downstream needs, thousands of gallons of water per second flow from Lake Mead through the dam's 17 giant turbines, producing clean, non-polluting hydroelectric power. Hoover Dam produces almost 4.5 billion kilowatt hours of electricity each year, enough to serve the needs of over 1 million people. The sale of this power has repaid the entire cost of constructing Hoover Dam, and continues to fund the yearly operating and maintenance costs as well. Hoover Dam helped ensure a future for the communities that settled along the river and the low, flat valleys of Southern California and Southwest Arizona. In Las Vegas, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and other smaller cities, Colorado River water delivered from Lake Mead helps meet the needs of millions of people a year. Hoover Dam and other dams along the Colorado River contain the floodwaters spawned each spring by melting snows, and from their reservoirs flows an assured and reliable water supply for water users throughout the basin. Combined with the warm climate and rich soils of the lower Colorado River basin, water from Lake Mead has created some of the most productive farmland in the country.
The white or yellow is calcium, and then anything that's red or orange is platinum. So just take a look at that on your phone. Okay.
stages. We're going to build the first stage, 1931 to 32, are diversion tunnels interconnecting them. Later on, these will carry the mighty Colorado River around the side of the dams, being built later on. We have 2 tunnels placed on the Arizona side, 2 Nevada, 50 feet in diameter, about 3/4 of a mile long approximately. They're connected in only 19 months with the use of drilling platforms on trucks we call drilling jumbos, despite heat, diesel fumes, and flying rock. Second step involves raising the river up to those tunnels there using 2 temporary earthen rock dams we call coffer dams. One placed upstream as it goes up will block and redirect the mighty Colorado into those tunnels around the site. Opposite, our lower coffer dam downstream prevents the water coming out the tunnels, eroding back in. As they're doing their job, we'll start to pump out any water trapped between the coffer dams. At the bottom, a mile of muck, rock, and silt is revealed. Some spots 135 feet deep. We're going to dig even deeper to the bottom, getting the prize for us, the bedrock down there. Now, as the bedrock is revealed, we'll then transition to the concrete pouring phase beginning June 6, 1933. With the use of 10 cableways, we drop down a bucket about every 78 seconds during the height of construction, zipping down, dumping 16 tons into individual wooden forms. Ongoing process, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 3 8-hour shifts non-stop. After 72 hours passes, all those interlocking stacked concrete columns will harden and more is brought down progressively. Block by block, as the dam is going up this way, we'll start to deliberately plug 3 of our tunnels with concrete plugs between 1934 to 35. Why do we do this? Simply reverses the water flow, starting to create Lake Mead against the dam as it's being built. We'll control this water flow as well, still, with the open outer Nevada tunnel directed around the site for a time. Adding to this workload, we're building the power plant facility, which we'll see shortly. This includes large intake towers on the sides by Lake Mead, sitting on canyon ledges, 395 feet high. As Lake Mead stretches to our completed power plant buildings at the end of 1935, basically we'll finish wrapping up the project. We'll carefully ensure these inner tunnels are sealed properly with steel gates and those plugs, and then lastly plug up our outer tunnel in 36. From then to now, we direct the lake water into these towers through side gates. The water falls all the way down to the bottom into steel penstock pipes leading to the generators. These are 30 foot in diameter. That's what you're standing on. If you look out the windows to my right or left, you'll notice one of those big ones. We handle up to 96,000 gallons of water per second, max capacity occasionally. That water, some of it, is flowing beneath your feet to the power plant further on. It will be squeezed through smaller 13-foot diameter pipes, spinning the turbines at the bottom that produces our electricity, then released downriver once more. The coffer dams, the upper is still around beneath Lake Mead for silt control help, while the lower is long gone, blasted out in 1936 with dynamite for water release. One last key feature of note, we have flood control on the sides of our dam incorporated in the project, the spillway system, 27 feet below the top. That's how we handle snowmelt and rain off the Rockies. This diagram shows you better over here. Steel drum gates will open up, pulling that water into our tunnel, bypassing the plug and exiting downriver. Last used in '83 for a big snowmelt rain event, 2 months straight, handled just like a charm. On this side, you'll note a photo there from that time. The water shown is 7 feet below the top, Niagara Falls, going down each side. This finishes the first section, everyone. In a moment, please follow me up the stairs. I'll lead us on the right with your group. 2 elevators up like last time to the same place directed by me. We'll see the generators. this. I usually don't bite unless you give me a reason, okay? Come on in, everyone. Please feel free to take photos and videos as I'm talking, but please take them now. Once we finish the talk, we're splitting up for the elevators. There will not be time for photos after we finish. Welcome everyone to Nevada side of the power plant wing. Stretching forward, we have our 8 generators. Starts as the Arizona wing with 9 generators. We have 17 total. In this wing, there stands 70 feet high. 30 feet we can see, right? There's another 40 feet beneath the floor hidden away. As to how we know they're producing power, well, just look on the top and that will indicate which ones are turned on currently based on water demand, water management. As water demand increases throughout the day and evening, more of these will be turned on to meet that need as well. The water is going to be shooting past through the penstocks to our right, shooting down to the bottom, spinning first the Francis turbine water wheel downstairs, 48 miles per hour. That's going to spin the 65-foot metal shaft you see in the middle of N1 right now. That shaft, as it's spinning 180 RPMs, will spin the rotor inside each red section, 40 electromagnets on the circumference. These electromagnets, as they spin, start to interact with 5 miles of stationary copper coil around it, technically called the stator drum. This creates electricity for the power plant as they interact. Each unit produces up to 130 megawatts of power and up to 65,000 homes. All 17, if we put them online together, over 2,000 megawatts for over 8 million homes. That's a lot of power. Now for in-house power needs, we have a couple of smaller generators for that. Look down the floor right, folks, you'll note a fenced area with 3 half-red pieces embedded in the floor. That's our Pelton water wheel generator, 1 of 2, providing us power to run everything, 2.4 megawatts. As also powering some unique green objects. Look down the bay above there, one with the American flag. That's our P&H bridge cranes for heavy lifting. Track system above you by the walls carries these as we like. One P&H handles 300 ton lifts at a time. To put that in perspective, the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor weighs a measly 225 tons. We can manage that, no problem. But we do require 2 cranes sometime to create a 600-ton lifting mechanism for repair projects throughout here. The rotors are 540 to 600 tons, for example. I'd like to also draw your attention, if you look at your shoes, now look at the floor here. This is started Art Deco. We have gorgeous terrazzo marble floor throughout the power plant, put in by the Martina family in 1937, about $59,000 back in the day. Adding to this beauty, we have inlaid designs, hundreds throughout the floor, and there's one by me and one by you behind by the benches. These were crafted by the American artist Alan Tupper True, inspired by local Southwest Native American pottery. The diamond shape to my left looks like an electrical outlet, represents power, and water is represented by the circular inlay by the benches, water spinning the turbine. Last but not least, folks, is Lake Mead and Hoover Dam. Well, the dam is right behind this power plant wall, going back 450 feet thick, and then you get the lake. Hoover Dam measures 726 feet tall, 45 feet thick at the electrical way above. The base, 200 feet beneath us, thickens down there, 660 feet wide or thick. The dam's base is like taking the power plant length from my side to the far wall beyond the generators to your left. 650 feet, adding 10 more feet, and imagine concrete to the ceiling. That is Hoover Dam's base, holding back the biggest reservoir in the Western Hemisphere to our right. This will conclude our tour, folks. For those who had the red, white, blue wristbands, 24 of y'all, raise your hands and come on down to Adam. Please show those wristbands and joy. For those that do not have a wristband, enjoy the view from our power plant group, and then I'll lead you back to that open door in a moment. Power plant, please take wristband for doors and around.
Come on down this way, guys. You handle that. Get on the stand momentarily. This elevator is level 4. You get up there, it's a little bit of a hassle. dam itself, as I mentioned, thousands of individual blocks. When you were building the blocks they were going up, there's actually good sized gaps in between them. It wouldn't work, the water would have filtered on through. So they had to finish the dam. So one of the main purposes of the vents where we're going was to actually get the workers in and out there. We had stairs and elevators even during construction, but it was for the bosses, cool people. All the dudes pretty much use the stairs up and down on the outside. But they could come in, and the first thing they did was to build the tunnels. They actually cast the concrete with forms, and when the concrete set, they pulled the materials, chucked them out the window. Second thing was that's when they brought the pumps in, brought them up, and anywhere they could get access and construction was going up, they backfilled all those gaps so the dam would hold water. So at the very beginning, all the tunnel networks were grouting galleries, kind of like an art gallery. These are galleries, I guess, that's what we call them. The grouting was the top at the beginning. Once the dam was pretty much finished, they returned all the tunnel networks to inspection galleries. So ongoing from now on, ever and ever and ever. That's the only reason anybody would be physically inside the dam besides us on tours is checking on the condition of the concrete, see how it's doing. But they don't even really do that much anymore except like an annual inspection. Once they filled the lake that first time in 41, the dam was already playing strong enough to do what it needed to do. From now on, for probably the next couple of thousand years, it's just going to continue to get harder and harder and harder. On the backside, around the 3,000 year mark, they estimate, that's where the degradation or the failure will start happening. But the curve goes up, and on the backside, it gets a lot slower. So the dams can be around for incredibly long. Pretty cool stuff. Other purposes of the vent themselves was actually to allow as heat rises up the face of the dam, it draws in through the louver vents, and that starts air circulation through the dam to vent out CO2 and stuff like that. So pretty cool. Lots and lots of purposes for everything around here, and tons of redundant systems. Sure. So construction of Hoover Dam. Officially, 96 industrial accidents on site. Now, 6 companies' rules. Basically, for families to petition for death benefits, the loss of a worker. The worker had to be killed on the job by an industrial accident. Industrial accidents from on the job stuff. The majority of those falls or things falling on guys, but also run over, blown up on the job stuff. Say I ran over by a truck, they took me to Boulder City to get better, I just didn't make it. Right across, 6 companies said, Adam didn't die on the job, you're not getting death benefits, don't waste your time. They didn't physically die on the job site. And way before ocean and everything else. It's just a different world. That's the nice part of the story. We get into the heat side of it. We get hot out here. Documented temperatures in the tunnels in the summertime on the project, high as 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That sucks. Summer's over, thank God. 3 to 4 months out of the year when we get off at 5 p.m., the cab of my truck's about 165 degrees. It's horrible out here. So heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and carbon monoxide poisoning from all the gasoline, diesel engines in the tunnel networks. Lucky workers at least got off at the end of their shift, 24. Lucky, yeah, you got lucky. Lucky workers, at least, if you want to say that, got off at the end of their shift, at least made it home before they died in their sleep. I'm very lucky. Every death contributed to carbon monoxide or heat-related was automatically signed off by those contracting company doctors as pneumonia, which is a natural occurring death with chance for death benefits. So the official number, we truly don't know. Now, I lied a little bit. I'll be quick on this one. Up by the garage is the statue of the high scaler guy. On the backside, we have a plaque with 98 names. I don't know why for 87 years we say 96, 98. We do. First death actually occurred off the project dates, basically in the 20s. Poor guy fell out of the boat in the river when he drowned. He was one of the surveyors. 13 years later, wrapping up construction on the intake towers, another guy fell off into the lake. Probably died hit in the water, but he died. Besides the water aspect and the dying aspect, what those two guys have in common out of the other 21,000 people that helped build Hoover Dam? And yeah, it's actually father and son. Father was the first guy, Mr. Tierney, and son, the junior, actually passed away, the last one falling off the towers. Don't know why, just one of the weird stories you got here. So officially 96, 98, give or take. But when you factor the heat and the carbon monoxide into it, it was considerably higher, just they didn't document it for whatever reason. Alright guys, we got it now. I'm gonna grab the first half of this, just gonna grab you guys. I'll see you guys up there in about 2 minutes. You get like a man, a lot of fun. Hey guys.
Questions? Damn questions. I love it. Now we do have a bench here if anyone needs a chance to sit down.
Você me faz que a gente telefone essa mulher lá.
Definitely, it's been factored over the heat. Both countries are already growing. The entire river is already basically popularized with the crop production side of it, so they couldn't factor population growth, just thinking of that at all. So So they stuck with what it's supposed to be used for. When it does get into the state's hands for their allocation, it's up to them to do the right thing. Generally, most of the states do. We do have one as being naughty, and you guys can figure that part out. I don't need to fight with it, even though I'm from the state. The other thing they did, though, which actually allows us to do what we do, they found it incredibly wasteful letting any excess water they didn't use that year go to the ocean, which makes a lot of sense to me. I come from commercial fishing farming and ranching. If you have a reservoir anywhere up and down the river system, you're dropping water in the ocean, that reservoir should be completely full. Every one of them should. If you're sacrificing water in the ocean, you should have no room to hold your excess water in case you got drought years. Any farmer will tell you that. Every rancher will do that. Even fishermen for all that stuff. It makes sense. That's simple as how you survive the world with Mother Nature. We need water. The problem is nobody on the planet is doing it, as far as I know, except us. I'm lucky to talk to folks from all over the world every day. People come to the dam, we talk about the dam, but when they peek over the wall, they say, like me, look sad. I explain to them, we save our leftover water, drop years. And they're like, man, that's pretty cool. That's a good idea. Almost everyone I've spoken to in the past 7-8 years I've been here to live on the coast with water going to the ocean, ask what their reservoirs are doing. They've already figured out what we do. Like, man, that is a fantastic idea. Why aren't we doing it? Because they're terrified of topics of that, hey, we can try to avoid those. Debatable. But and that point doesn't even fit into that. Because if you're wasting water in the ocean, you should have no more space to store that leftover water. And nobody's doing it. We don't know what the future holds. You know, you can look at it in any different ways and all that, but if water is such a huge concern and all that, why isn't anybody else on the planet storing excess water instead of wasting the ocean, which is expensive to get back? Depending on how you look at it, it can be toxic to the environment, all kinds of different factors, but nobody's doing it. I find it frustrating because it's such a simple thing to do. Fill up your reservoirs and let the excess go if you have to. And just the problem is our elevators are tied into the system. They get notified as well, and they go, uh-oh, the dam might be having a bad day. They just stop working. They go down, open up, they don't run anymore because who wants to be in there? The dam's having a bad day. So being right here, we're kind of in a pickle. What do we do with no elevators? Out the window is a bad idea. Use your imagination. All we got left is what we call Stairway to Heavens. We got one on both sides. I'm gonna take you over to the Nevada side real quick. Let's just see that one. Nevada side has 717 steps from bottom to top. From the power plant where we just came from, I'm told, with a group our size, 45 minutes to an hour to egress out. If nobody's slipping, we all came crashing back down the stairs. You get the joke when you see the stairs. It's kind of like an extension ladder. It's pretty hairy. So if you guys want, we're gonna head down that way. We'll check out the stairs. Come home. Here's your drain. We had, let's say that we were talking about this, everybody wants to see the stairs. I remember last year, the year before, but they did like a Southern Nevada like EMT challenge. Basically anybody that was in the business, first responders, canine. Where are we gonna find